What is up, YouTube? Alright, so I've had a bunch of questions on why the FB. Honestly, it's the most highly sold Rx-7. It's I would say, the best Rx-7. And I wanted to have a car that would be solid axle and McPherson strut. So when I snagged the McPherson strut off the FC, and then I did a Toyota 8-inch solid axle for the rear, the idea was to be a balance of comfort, luxury, and performance. And you can't really do that if you've got like really short links or anything, because then your angles for the axle itself, the articulation from that is going to be abrupt, and so your traction will be less consistent. So why the FB? Very simple. It's the better Rx-7. Nicer interior. It had the right color scheme, like blacks and blues. Mine has like that beautiful amber in it as well. And to me, it was a no-brainer. I didn't fit in the FD at all. I think the FD is made by accountants, and obviously they did a good job on the chassis, and that's where the majority of the money went. And then they had to deal with the emissions, which is another big chunk of that accountant style money. I feel like the FB got enough shared parts between all of Mazda's cars at the time. This is pre-Ford, so it was still Mazda. And to me, I think they kind of nailed it. I think they did a perfect job with nothing is undersized. So like if you look at the body panels, you look at anything that's a form fitting of what the car would be, like it's all robust. There's not something that feels cheap or tinny or weird like that. Like the windows, perfect example. You close a window in an FD, or you close a window in like a Honda Civic, and you get this rattle. And the first generation Mazda RX-7 seems to be a perfect balance of like almost Germaneering. And I say that, I'm not sure people know what the hell that is. German cars are built to an extreme degree, very, very well. And it's very much like Japan's answer to German cars. It was a direct competitor to the Porsche for the budget racer. And between that and anything in that same era from BMW, you're getting a beautiful, robust, well-made car. And that was it. And if I look at the other generations, FC is probably the most iconic, beautiful 80s car. And right up there with the Porsche that looks identical to it. Obviously the Porsche was first, but being a fanboy, I'll say what I said. And the FD, I think it's much more show and less go. But, a lot of people love it. It was a lot more exclusive. It was a lot more expensive initially. And it's just kind of pick your poison, right? So, anyways, someone had asked me why the FB. And to me, it's the more driver-friendly, emotional car. It's more what is a balanced car to me. You can't get luxury at an FD. It's a piece of shit as far as the build quality goes. And if that offends someone, whatever. I already have plenty of haters. Add to the list. The FDs are not well built, and why pour time and effort into something that is poorly constructed from the factory versus something that is it feels way higher end when it comes to the actual build quality material selection from Mazda. So FBRX-7, and the solid axle is going to be really cool to have a lot of articulation and still aiming to be a luxury comfort car. The downside of that articulation is the tire selection. Factory would have been a 165 80 13, and I have a 255 40 17. What that's doing is my rear fenders, which are still factory, my rear fenders are very, very, very tight in any direction. So what that's going to do is, as it articulates, the inside will be coming close to the body, as far as like the inner fender well. So that may end up becoming an issue. I've got room for wheel spacers, I've got, whatever I need to, but then I run out of outer fender, and then you're really screwed. So then you have to have those ugly ass ZG flares, or metalworking of some other flare, or getting a high-end fiberglass molded body, which is, after paint and all the body work, is like 20 grand. So yeah, you got to balance it. It's a performance car, but it's also not supposed to be competing with a modern 40-year later era car. What is this moron doing? Come on. He's sitting in traffic and he's absolutely stopped, and everyone else around him is moving. I just don't get it. But yeah, FB, I'm happy with it. And mine's going along really well. I ran into a snag with a single sensor that made it halt the project. Instead of reassembling and tightening everything, I had to loosen everything up, take a bunch of stuff off, tap the 1/8 inch IPT, just because I'm very, very cautious about anything that has fittings on it is always going to be gone through again. And yeah, the non-side of a compression fitting got stuck. That was very scary. So I'll have updates for you guys by the weekend. Here's a quick little video. So cheers, y'all. Catch you in the next one.